What's going on, guys? Welcome to my UFC 277 post-fight live stream. Amanda Nunes versus Julianna Peña 2 in the main event of UFC 277. And there is so much to digest from this card. We had some heated debate in the members only Discord talking about the main event. But I'm going to give you guys all my reactions and analysis. If you're in the members Discord, you already know some of it, but we're going to talk through the entire main card. And this was a fun card. I talked about it. I was a defender of UFC 277. I was realistic on how it felt in a way. That it wasn't the craziest stacked card by any means, but I didn't think it was a terrible card. And I was a defender, and I think this card, for the majority of it, prelims and main card, were pretty fun and enjoyable. And there was a lot of, notable things that happened on UFC 277. I enjoyed the card. Before we get into anything, so first off, if you've never watched one of my live post-fight streams, let me just make sure my audio is working by some chance. If it was off, okay, it's working fine. If by some chance you haven't watched one of my post-fight streams before, I go over all my reactions, I talk about the results, and then at the end of the stream for the last 20 minutes to half hour, sometimes even a little bit longer than that, I go through the chat and read questions. So I'll let you guys know when I'm getting close to the end. I'm mainly going to talk about the main and co-main, but we're going to talk about the entire main card. And then at the end of this stream, I'm going to answer every single one of your guys' questions. Do me a favor before we even get started. Make sure to like the stream. Also, if you haven't liked the stream already, well, hold on, wait. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Go check, make sure you're subscribed. We're slowly creeping our way to 5,000 subscribers. Also, if you're part of any MMA communities, go share the stream. I would greatly appreciate it. But again, at the end of this video, we're going to talk, I'm going to answer all your guys' questions. So we're going to hold off for the questions till the end of the video. I'm not even going to be looking at the chat unless, I need to ask you guys something or put up a poll until the end of the stream, because I'm just going to be distracted and I want to give you guys all my thoughts on all the results of the card. And it was a fun, especially the top two fights were particularly fun. The main event, I might have a bit of a hot take about the main event, but we'll see what you guys think when we talk towards the end of the stream. But so okay, let's get into the results. The main event. Also, first off, guys, I rarely do great on the full card predictions, so I have to give myself a round of applause. I went 10-3 tonight. I picked Lewis, so I was wrong there. I picked Mays, so I was wrong there, and I picked Potieria, so I was wrong there. Outside of that, I got every other pick on the entire card right, so I went 10 out of 13. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Also, guys, if you want to join the Discord, guys, we had an excellent time in the Discord tonight, the members Discord. The link is down in the description. You get a bunch of benefits, but the main benefit is joining the members Discord. The link is down in the description. If you guys are a member, you're in the stream right now, let everybody know how much of a good time we had discussing the fights live during the entire card tonight. So, okay, let's get into the results. Let's get into the analysis. The main event was Julianna Peña versus Amanda Nunes 2. And honestly, my analysis for this fight, my prediction was pretty good. I thought Nunes would stop her in the third round. But pretty much the fight played out in a way that I thought it would play out. I just thought that Nunes was going to play it safe this fight. And I thought she was going to be more technical. I thought she was going to pick her apart. And I thought she was going to fight in a way that would be conducive to her not gassing out. Because regardless of what you think, Nunes is weak mentally, okay? It's just proven after that last fight, and it's kind of been known in the past. And when she starts to face a little bit of adversity, especially if she's tired, she cannot push through it. She tapped with, Peña having no hooks in. The choke wasn't even on underneath the chin. She tapped out because she was tired and she got tagged with a bunch of shots. She faced some adversity, then she was taken down. Well, this fight, she came out. She proved what a lot of us thought. Going into this fight, I thought, I had a really hard time picking this main event. I've always stuck with Nunes, but for me to watch someone quit like that in a fight, and I talk about this all the time. I've talked about this almost since I started the channel. There are some fighters that when they start to face some adversity, they pack it in. You see it almost every card. They either fight to survive or they look for a way out. And in the first fight, Nunes, I think she wasn't taking her seriously. And look what happened. Julianna Peña has iron heart, iron will, and good stamina. And that's all it took. That's all it took. Nunes got too comfortable being dominant for as long as she was. And that's all it took for her to lose her bantamweight title. So what happened in this fight? This went all 5 rounds. Amanda Nunes regains her bantamweight title. She wins by decision. And regardless of what the commentary will have you believe, this was not a close fight. This was a one-sided beatdown. Amanda Nunes literally destroyed her. Might be a bit exaggeratory, but it was fairly dominant. One judge gave her the victory 50-43. I believe that's 2 10-8s. Off the top of my head, I believe that's 2 10-8s. And I think that's a fair scorecard. I mean, from start to finish, Peña had really no success in this fight. And there's some people that are going to disagree with me because they spent too much time listening to the commentary of Joe Rogan, of DC. John Anik really wasn't in there, throwing that type of shit out there. This was not a competitive fight, guys, okay? A couple things. So first off, let's go round by round. First round, Nunes stung her multiple times. Nunes ate some jabs, and that's pretty much all she ate for the entire fight. She ate a couple jabs from Peña. I would say anywhere from, maybe 5 to 15 jabs for the whole fight. It's not like she ate a massive amount. And someone's going to point and say, well, the official stats says this, the official stats say that. I don't buy the official stats ever. When it supports my argument, I don't buy it. And when it doesn't support my argument, I don't buy it either. And so she tags her multiple times in the first round. She never goes for the kill ever. The second round, Nunes drops her multiple times. A couple times she looked like she was borderline flash KO'd. That may be a bit exaggeratory, but the point is, Peña was hurt badly in the second round multiple times. Peña was coming in. Peña has terrible striking. She's terrible at closing the distance. When she strikes, she looks like she's fighting off a swarm of bees, okay? And I know I sound like I'm being harsh, okay? But I'm always going to tell you guys my honest opinion, whether you guys hate it or love it. I'm just going to give you what I think, Right or wrong, that's it. Peña has terrible striking. She always has terrible striking. She was waiting in, looking like she was fighting off a swarm of bees. Amanda Nunes was using her footwork, moving, and hitting her with the right hook. That's another thing. Nunes came out in this fight, and she fought the majority of the fight in the southpaw position. She dropped her 3 or 4 times in the second round. I can't remember how many times. Third round, Nunes took her down, landed some nasty elbows, cut her open. This was when Peña started bleeding pretty badly. It wasn't like particularly like super dominant on the ground, but it was a solid round, and it was a clear win for Amanda Nunes in the third round. Fourth round, and after the third round on, Nunes had decided, I'm going to grapple from here on out, okay? The fourth round was the only moment that I had a little bit of pause, and there was a armbar attempt, and it looked like it might be locked in. Peña was going for submissions the whole time she was on her back. This one looked kind of close, but I wouldn't say, oh my God, it wasn't like Volkanovski-Ortega close, okay? It looked like her arm was in a bad position, but it looked like Nunes had positional control. Like I thought she would scramble out of it as long as she didn't make a mistake. This was nowhere close to like a Volk-Ortega scenario. And the fourth round, she just basically got beat up with some elbows. Wasn't super significant. Nunes seemed like she was getting tired, and she just wanted to lay on Julianna Peña and get some rest. And she would throw some elbows. Wasn't a particularly eventful round. I mean, it was decent. I think a couple times in this round, I can't remember for sure, Peña was able to get up, but then right back down. I can't remember if the ref stood him up at one point. No, they didn't. The ref didn't stand him up. What it was is I think Nunes was trying to pass the guard. She stood up for a second to try to pass the guard and then let her up, and then she took her right back down. I think it was in the fourth round. But either way, that happened at some point in the fourth or fifth round. Fifth round, same thing. Nunes immediately takes her down, controls her, lands some decent elbows. Peña continues to try to set up triangles, set up omoplatas, set up arm bars. Couple notes. First off, one thing I did not see mentioned by the commentary, or really anyone in general, Peña was grabbing inside the gloves all night long, looking to set up omoplatas, looking to set up arm bars. She was digging inside the gloves of Nunes, and it's just annoying. I'm so tired of fouls constantly being committed and there being no real reason for, no real penalty for cheating. Okay. We're seeing constant fence grabs, and this is just another form of cheating, and it just went unpenalized. Okay. Also, I know there's going to be a lot of people, and somebody said this in the members Discord, that says, Julianna Peña, she went for a lot of submissions. She was threatening with submissions. Joe Rogan, over the course of, 25 minutes, must have said, probably about 165 times, this is tight. This is tight. They weren't really tight outside of, I could understand him saying that for the 4th round armbar attempt. Okay. So anyone saying, oh, Peña's a real dog, she was in this fight because she was looking for submissions or threatening with submissions. Okay, this has kind of become a saying on my channel. Threatening with submissions. Another way to say threatening with submissions is not getting submissions, okay? That's all it is, okay? It's really irrelevant. She didn't get them. It is what it is. She went for a submission. She didn't get it, okay? Doesn't mean shit. In this fight, the commentary was atrocious. Maybe, and I don't even know, outside of the little bit of discussion I've had for 5 minutes before I got up here on the Discord about the main event, post-main event, I don't know what the general consensus is right now. So I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me, disagree with me. The commentary was horrendous. Every time Julianna Peña threw a punch, they were pretending that she rocked Amanda Nunes. I don't think Amanda Nunes was rocked one time this fight. There was a couple times that the Peña landed maybe, a wild like hook or something like that. But it was very rare that happened. Maybe 2 to 3 times. And then she landed a couple jabs. Outside of that, it was just Nunes doing exactly what I thought she would do. Be more technical, be more conservative, serve her gas tank, save her gas tank, and just look to eventually stop her. But obviously that never happened. I think it was clear as day the first fight messed with Nunes' head, because there was multiple times that Nunes could have finished her, especially in that 2nd round, and she didn't even go for the finish at all. She just hung back and took a breather. There was multiple times after she dropped her where she could have just let her right up. She stood over for 5 to 10 seconds, taking a breather, before she then let the referee stand her up. She never went for the finish. So I honestly believe coming out of this fight, the commentary team was acting like Peña looked like a world beater. At one point in time, DC said something. I can't remember what the exact line was. He alluded to the fact that maybe Peña could be winning on the scorecards, and maybe he was making a subtle jab at the judging. I don't know. And then they were complimenting Amanda Nunes, saying how great she looked. Let me just say this, and this may be another hot take. I believe Amanda Nunes has vastly regressed in her skill set. Commentary team, I just feel, was way off in the main event. Peña looked awful. I think Peña's always been awful. She didn't even deserve the title shot that she initially got. Can we call that first win a fluke win? I understand calling it a fluke win, but at the same time, she beat the Amanda Nunes that was there that night. The Amanda Nunes that was there at UFC 269, if she showed up every time against Peña, she loses every time against Peña. She did not take her seriously. She did not train well. She got into a firefight and she lost, okay? I don't feel like we can necessarily take that away from her, but at the same time, I believe the initial loss by Nunes at 269, and I hate to say this, was more on Nunes than it was Peña being good. Because Peña's skill set is not that good. She got submitted by Germaine Durandamine, okay? Her striking is far from world class, okay? It's far from world class. The commentary team was acting like she was good. At one point, DC said, we're complimenting Amanda Nunes a lot, but Peña's looking good herself. At no point in this fight did I look at Peña fighting and I said, you know what? She looks really good. Nope. And I believe Amanda Nunes, whether it's the training camp, whether it's a litany of other factors, I believe that Amanda Nunes has regressed. I believe she's falling out of her prime. I believe she made the adjustments that she needed to make, and she proved that she is better than Julianna Peña. She busted her up. She bloodied her up. She defeated her in all aspects. She defeated her in the clinch. She defeated her on the ground. She defeated her in the striking. Peña had no success in this fight, and at no point did I think she looked even remotely good. If the UFC forces us to see a potential trilogy, I'm honestly going to vomit. No part of me wants to see a trilogy. I think it's a matter of time before somebody rises up and snatches that belt off of Amanda Nunes. It's the laws of averages. When you continue to win, eventually you're going to lose. It's just how it always works. It's the percentages, you know. But at the end of the day, Nunes made the adjustments. She showed she's the far better striker. She came out and fought in southpaw, which probably threw Peña off a little bit. She landed the counter right hand over and over and over again as Peña rushed in. A couple compliments I can give to Peña, but if you're getting these type of compliments, you know how the fight went. She's tough. She has heart. Those are two great things. But when those things aren't combined with high-level skills on any level, really, in any facet, I mean, I don't know what to say, guys. I really don't. You know, and I know maybe somebody's going to say I'm shitting on women's MMA. I like women's MMA. I've been a defender of women's MMA. I love the strawweight division. I love watching Amanda Nunes. I enjoyed watching this fight. I thought it could have been a lot better, but I enjoyed watching it. What we saw tonight was Amanda Nunes make the adjustments. Amanda Nunes that had mental issues after the first fight because I believe she could have finished her, but she actively made the decision not to finish her in this fight because she was worried about gassing out. And she proved that Peña really, I mean, I don't want to see this trilogy. So help me God, if they book the trilogy, it better not be a main event. It better not even be a co-main event. That would be disturbing. But Nunes proved that now she's the two-time double champion. And let me just say this. I have been a bit of a defender of Amanda Nunes because I believe she did deserve that 2-title accolade because she did stop Chris Cyborg. But at this point, is it any more than an act? The 145-pound division does not exist, okay? It does not exist. You go to the UFC's website, it's non-existent. You don't even have rankings for it. It's a fake division. Close it down. She's not a real double champion. They were paying 135ers to go up and fight her at 145. You literally, I just pulled it up just out of curiosity to see. You pull up women's featherweight rankings on the UFC, it's literally just Amanda Nunes as champion. Disturbing. Julianna Peña showed the level of fighter that she is. And she had no business ever beating Amanda Nunes, but Amanda Nunes, a combination of a bunch of factors is what factored in that initial win, and she will forever go down as a UFC champion. Does she ever get the belt again? I don't know. It depends what path Nunes takes. Does Nunes retire soon? Who does Nunes fight next? Could she fight maybe, I think Irene Aldana has a fight coming up on 280 against, let me look that up real quick. Irene Aldana, next fight. I think, is it Macy Chaston? Yeah, at UFC 279. The winner of that fight could potentially be next in line. Outside of that, I mean, who else are you going to give? Ketlin Vieira, maybe? I don't want to see that. 135 is looking, is not looking too great right now. The stability of the women's divisions at 135 pounds, at 145 pounds are not looking good. And I blame the UFC for this. We could have imagine a women's featherweight division, okay? It would be shallow. But imagine we had Nunes, Cyborg, and Kayla Harrison. That is the UFC's fault. We should have those three in the weight class. But we don't. They have refused to try to build the division. They put it there just for fanfare, just to have an extra title fight to throw on cards. And for me, it doesn't do anything for me. Women's 145 means nothing to me. It's non-existent. Women's 135, I enjoy it. I think it's a division that belongs. But at the same time, I'm looking at this division and there's not a lot of bright spots. Now, I do believe this version of Amanda Nunes because I do believe she's regressed. She's far from the prime Amanda Nunes we've seen knocking out Holly Holm, brutally KOing Chris Cyborg. I believe she is beatable, okay? Maybe she loses to Ketlin Vieira. I don't know. Maybe she loses to Irene Aldana. Doubtful. But it's still there. I do not want to see this trilogy. I don't want to see a fight at featherweight. If the UFC makes some bullshit fight at featherweight, I'm going to make a video and I'm going to have to rant about that. But so basically the synopsis of the main event, Amanda Nunes took her seriously. She came in shape. She fought very smart. Could she have put the foot on the gas a little bit more and probably finished Peña in the second round or third or fourth or fifth or even probably the first? Yes, she could. She made the conscious decision that I'm not going to beat myself. I'm not going to gas myself getting in a firefight with Julianna Peña. She was super technical. She picked her shot. She countered Julianna Peña as she waded in sloppily, and she made her pay for it. She out-grappled her at every turn. The submission attempts meant nothing, and she got 50-43. There's not much more to say about it. Peña got a title shot over a win over Sarah McMahon. She's probably going to be calling for a trilogy. I have no desire to see that yet again. But maybe you guys do. You'll have to let me know in the chat, which I'll get to a little bit later in the stream. But I don't want to spend too much time on the main event. But Amanda Nunes wins by decision. A dominant victory for Amanda Nunes. Don't let the commentary tell you any different. Don't let any other, news media or MMA, MMA YouTubers or anything pretend this was a competitive fight. This was a one-sided beatdown with Peña leaving with her face changed, bleeding, covered in blood, okay? And losing in every aspect. There was no aspect in this fight that Peña won, okay? So that's it. Let's move on to the co-main event, which was the #1 fight that I was looking forward to on this card. And just a reminder, guys, if you're just joining us, don't forget to run up the likes on the stream. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it as well. Double check and make sure you're subscribed. Co-main event. What a fight while it lasted. Brandon Moreno wins by 3rd round TKO. I was so close to getting a perfect prediction here. I took Brandon Moreno by 4th round TKO. I thought that Kai Kara France would wear down and eventually get finished in the 4th round. Brandon Moreno had the better striking, better volume, so on and so forth. This was a great fight, and the finish kind of came out of nowhere. It's, even though I say, I was very close to calling the fight, it didn't end in a way that, I thought it would end. I thought it would be him slowing down. That's not what happened at all. Let's go through it round by round. First round was a very close round. I thought Moreno won. He landed the better shots. Landed some good, step-in left hands. Kai Kara France landed 2 big shots all around. Moreno was checking some leg kicks, pumping some jabs. Moreno went for a takedown, but it was stuffed by Kai Kara France. He showed very good takedown defense in this fight. And that was pretty much it for the first round. It wasn't super high pace. And, but it was competitive, and both guys, you could tell, were very worried about making a mistake, but it was still really good. The tension was high for this fight. Second round, very close round. This was closer than the first round. I think this round could have went either way, okay? There was good leg kicks from both guys. Moreno shot in on a couple takedowns. I think at one point he had Kai Kara France down to a knee, but it wasn't really considered a takedown, and Kai Kara France immediately scrambled out of it. There were some good jabs from Moreno. There were some good shots landed from Kai Kara France. But I think Moreno took this round. I had a 2018 going into the 3rd round. But by no means, at this point, was the writing on the wall. It wasn't like, okay, Moreno's got this in the bag. This was a highly contested fight where both guys were being very measured, being very technical, picking their shots. It was a chess match, and it was a great fight up until this point. Even though it wasn't super action-packed, it was a very good fight where you could see both guys trying to make adjustments mid-fight. 3rd round was Kai Kara France's best round and his worst round, I guess. Kai Kara France was landing some good shots. At one point, I think Brandon Moreno kind of overextended a little bit. And Kai Kara France got a takedown. And then Moreno was kind of pulling him into his guard. And Kai Kara France came over the top with a brutal elbow that swelled up Moreno's eye and cut it badly. He was bleeding pretty badly. As he got up, he got to his hands and knees. Kai Kara France kind of pulled the Michael Chandler versus Charles Oliveira when Oliveira was trying to recover type thing where he's down on all fours, but Kai Kara France was throwing big shots. A couple of them got through, a couple of them missed. But this was a bad spot for Moreno. Had he got caught by one of these big right hands, he could have been put to sleep. He ate a few of them. He was fine. Brandon Moreno has one of the best chins in the game. Gets up, and this continues to go on to be a pretty close round after that. Now, it was getting close to the end of the round, okay? And I thought this was a clear Kai Kara France round. I thought he landed the better shots. He was beating up the leg pretty good. And it literally came out of nowhere. But Brandon Moreno landed this multiple times throughout the fight. And I think he even landed it twice in the third round. He did a like running switch kick to the body, perfectly placed, landed right on like the rib area. I think it was a liver shot. I'm not 100% sure on that. Puts Kai Kara-France down. Kai Kara-France just couldn't recover. His whole body shut down. Brandon Moreno swarms him with ground and pound punches, and he's just covering up. He can't do anything. His body's hurt too badly. You could hear the kick echo in the arena. That's how brutal it was. And the way Moreno switched stances and then sprinted into it. And he does this all the time. He does it in a lot of his fights. This isn't something that was new. He did it multiple times in this fight. He even landed it a couple times in this fight. It would put anyone away for the most part. It landed perfectly flush, and Kai Kara-France couldn't do nothing. He finishes him via ground and pound TKO in the third round. Great win for Brandon Moreno. Now he's the interim flyweight champion. And it's a shame. At one point, they were going to close down the division. TJ Dillashaw went down and said, I am ending this division. And look at it now. And this was an amazing fight. Even though Kai Kara-France got finished, I don't think his stock goes down a whole lot. After the fight, they brought Deiveson Figueiredo into the cage. And I actually tweeted this out. And if you don't follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, at MMAJoeyC. There are some people, cough, cough, Ariel Helwani, that are going to cry that Deiveson Figueiredo didn't come into the cage and smack Brandon Moreno over the head with a steel chair and have some pushing and shoving and yelling at each other like Brock Lesnar, DC at UFC. What was that? After he knocked out Stipe Miocic. There's some people that are going to cry that did not happen, okay? I really enjoyed the moment in the cage. Moreno said, look, I apologize if I did anything to you. I respect you. I can't wait to fight you. I want to fight you in December. I forgot what Figgy said, but he said the respect was mutual and he's going to fight him. Joe Rogan all night was saying, like, Figgy's not coming back to the flyweight. I don't know where he got that narrative from. Maybe the UFC was putting him on that because Figgy's trying to renegotiate his contract. I don't know. But I love to see that show of respect in the cage after the fight between Moreno and Figgy. That's the only fight to make. Figgy versus Moreno 4. The third fight was razor close. Could have went either way. I personally thought Brandon Moreno won, but it was a fight that could have went either way. I need to see the fourth fight. But a couple things. Brandon Moreno has gotten so much better in the past couple years. His striking is good. His stamina is great. He didn't look tired at all towards the end of the third round. Not that it was a high output fight. He was tagging Kai Kara-France with some good jabs, with some good step-in left hands. And that nasty running switch kick right to the ribs was brutal and put him down. And Kai Kara-France is an elite level fighter. There's no doubt about that. He was next. He was up there towards the top of the division. You know, a lot of people were saying, I want to see Kai Kara-France fight for the title next. I don't want to see the fourth fight. So he could have been arguably fighting Figgy. I doubt the UFC would have made that. I think they wanted the fourth fight, but since Figgy couldn't, he had a hand injury or whatever, I was in the countdown saying that. You know, this fight came to fruition, and I'm glad we got to see it. And now Kai Kara-France has had his shot. He's been finished by Brandon Moreno, and it makes the fourth fight that much bigger. I cannot wait for Deiveson Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno because they're 1-1-1 right now. You have the first fight that I thought Figgy won, but with the point deduction, it ended up being a draw. You have the second fight where Brandon Moreno just outclasses him, but there was a lot of excuses there. And then you have the third fight that was razor close, competitive. Figgy made a lot of adjustments in the third fight. You have to run it back for a fourth time. And a win over Kai Kara-France is massive. Kai Kara-France was surging. He was on a good win streak. Coming off the win over Askar Askarov, coming off the, when he chinned Cody Garbrandt, coming off the knockout win over Rogerio Bontorin. Kai Kara-France was right up there towards the top. And the flyweight division is looking really, really good. Right now we're going to talk about Alexandre Pantoja, who fought on this card as well, who looked incredible. The flyweight division, thank you to the MMA gods that this flyweight division was not, did away with by Dana White and the UFC. Thank you for the super chat donation, Blatant Express. I will get to that when I get to the questions here in a minute, but I appreciate you and thank you for the $5. But yeah, Brandon Moreno looked very impressive tonight. I really enjoyed watching this fight. This was a fight where I was curious how it was going to go. I was curious how Kai Kara-France would approach this fight. He's kind of a guy that's known for his power. He had a good first round against Brandon Moreno in the first fight. They fought, back in 2019. but he was very measured. And this fight, I wouldn't mind seeing this fight ran back. This is not a fight that, you know, this is not a fight that was non-competitive. You know what I mean? This is a fight that I could have seen it, you know, I could have seen it going either way. I could have seen it going either way had it continued, but Moreno found that opening, and in MMA, you can't make those types of mistakes. Not that it was really mistakes, but it's a game of inches. And when you get blasted with a brutal body kick like Moreno threw, you're going to get finished. So amazing performance by Brandon Moreno. He's now the interim flyweight champion. Makes the fourth fight with Fugitt even more impressive. And he looked great in this fight. Outside of, that ground exchange where he got cut up, he would probably leave that fight with almost no damage. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that that Kai France didn't land anything, but it wasn't anything that was really busting up Brandon Moreno. He landed some good leg kicks. Kai France had heavy leg kicks, but Brandon Moreno was doing a good job checking some of those, not all of them. And then also he was landing some of his own. There was at one point I wanted to mention that Brandon Moreno landed a head kick, and as he was throwing the head kick, and it was only a glancing head kick, Kai France kicked the leg out from underneath of him. That was a good moment in the fight. This was just a great fight. This was a high-level fight with two of the best guys in the division fighting for an interim title. I love this fight, and even though we didn't need 5 rounds, I am so glad that it was 5 rounds. So I'm glad they did put the interim title on the line, even though we didn't technically need it. Okay, let's move on down the card. Derrick Lewis versus Sergei Pavlovich. Man, this is one that we're going to have some heated debate on. So let me take a drink real quick. First and foremost, Derrick Lewis gets TKO'd in the first round. And this was a fight that a lot of people were crying, early stoppage, early stoppage, early stoppage. Let me clarify my feelings on this fight. I would have liked to have seen it go a little bit longer. This was not an early stoppage at all, and I will die on that hill. I watched the replay, just like you guys did multiple times. Joe Rogan was pushing the narrative that it was an early stoppage. Big Dan Miragliotta, I believe was the ref in this fight, if I'm remembering correctly, saw Derrick Lewis go face down. I tweeted out that he was kissing the mat as if he was stranded at sea for 6 months and he just washed up on land, okay? He went face down kissing the ground. He was out. And when you see that type of body language, you have to make a split-second decision. Big Dan, looking at Derrick Lewis, saw that he went face down and started to jump in. As he jumped in, Derrick Lewis recovered. And then he stood right up and went like this, okay? This is a game of seconds, and I believe that this was a perfectly fine stoppage. I would even go as far as to say it was a good stoppage. I don't care that Derrick Lewis recovered, okay? I do not care. Because had Big Dan not stepped in and given him them 3 seconds, 4 seconds to recover, Sergei Pavlovich would have bashed his brain in even more, gave him more CTE, and it would have been, it would have been another finish. He would have got KO'd again. But he was hurt badly. They were both swinging wildly, and Sergei Pavlovich was able to put him away. I think it was a perfectly fine stoppage. Okay, analysis for both guys. Derrick Lewis. He has masked a lot of his skill deficiencies for quite a few years just based on his power and timing alone, okay? Derrick Lewis has never been that good of a fighter, okay? And I hate to say that. Derrick Lewis is a fan favorite. I always enjoy watching him fight. He's always exciting. The Texas curse continues for Derrick Lewis. He's never been an elite fighter, guys. I hate to say it. He's gotten by for far too long on his power and his speed. I mean, he's actually pretty fast. He has fast hands. He's not technical. He has no technical striking. He doesn't have good stamina. He doesn't even have that great of a chin, honestly. He's been KO'd now twice in a row. Or actually, yeah, twice in a row. He got KO'd in his last fight. He's been stopped in 3 of his last 4. He's gotten by for far too long because it's all great when you're knocking guys dead. It's all great. It doesn't matter. It can cover up any deficiencies. But when this starts to happen, you really start to see those glaring flaws in your skill set. Derrick Lewis does not have a plan B. Derrick Lewis's only plan is to swing wildly and pray that he gets a knockout shot. That's his only game plan. That's his only game plan. And it just didn't work out for him in this fight. Sergei Pavlovich, I actually picked against him. This is my wrong pick on the card. I thought that Derrick Lewis would catch him. I thought Pavlovich looked like he'd been training head movement with Alexei Oleinik. The head movement was non-existent, but Derrick Lewis is done. Derrick Lewis is done for. He went in there, he swung wildly, and he paid for it. Pavlovich was faster, more technical, cleaner shots. Landed 4 or 5 shots on Derrick Lewis before he went face down. I don't remember even what he landed. Landed the left hand, landed the right hand. And Derrick Lewis, it sucks to say, but his time has come and gone. We can have him as a gatekeeper of the division, I guess. But he's gotten flatlined in his last 2 fights. And I picked him in his last 2 fights. And now you're losing to Pavlovich, who's not even ranked in the top 10. The heavyweight division is not super deep by any means. And now you're losing, to the guys outside of the top 10. What else are you going to do? What else are you going to do here? I guess you can book Derrick Lewis versus maybe like a Volkov rematch or something along those lines. I don't know who you book him with next. Maybe Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I can't remember if Jairzinho Rozenstruik's got a fight. He lost to number 11. Derrick Lewis is going to be regulated to a gatekeeper of the heavyweight division now. And he's not even that good of a gatekeeper, because if you can avoid the power shots of Derrick Lewis, you will beat Derrick Lewis. Easier said than done. But again, Pavlovich, shout out to him. He landed the better shots. He put Derrick Lewis out. And Derrick Lewis is now the gatekeeper of the division. I don't think Pavlovich is ever going to be a champion by any means. But you never know. In the heavyweight division, you're never more than a couple wins away from a title shot. So only time will tell. But that's pretty much it for that fight. I'm not particularly impressed by Pavlovich, even though I picked against him. But still a solid win. Put out Derrick Lewis still means something. To avoid those big shots of Derrick Lewis means something. And he went out there and did it. Moving down the card, one of my favorite performances on the card, and maybe the best performance of the night. Alexandre Pantoja versus Alex Perez. Pantoja wins via first round rear naked choke. And this fight was wild while it lasted. Pantoja just came out and started walking him down. He came out to make a statement win. And he went out there, slung with Alex Perez. Perez landed some shots of his own, but got clipped up with a couple shots. There was a scramble. Pantoja, I think, tripped him and then jumped on his back and immediately started looking for the rear naked choke. Locked up a neck crank. It wasn't under the chin, but squeezed as hard as he could, and he was in the standing, back mount position. And Alex Perez had no real response other than to just tap out. He couldn't get out of it. He couldn't fight the hands. Pantoja was squeezing as hard as he possibly could, and he tapped him out. Great performance. Pantoja is now put himself in line for a flyweight title shot. But we have to see how Moreno Figgy 4 plays out. But the next in line is without a doubt Pantoja. And if someone can't go, let's say Moreno for some reason can't go against Figgy in December, that'd be weird because he's the interim champion. Or if Figgy can't go again, Moreno versus Pantoja is the fight to make. And that's an interesting matchup because Pantoja already has 2 wins over Brandon Moreno. And I believe he has a loss to Davison Figueroa as well. So it's the flyweight division is very, very interesting right now. And Pantoja couldn't have went out and put on more of a statement win to go out there and just sling haymakers before you eventually jump on a guy's back and choke him out with a neck crank. It's super impressive. And Alex Perez, I know a lot of people, he may not be super popular. And at the same time, a lot of people may not know him. But Alex Perez is an elite level flyweight. And I almost picked him on this fight card, but I didn't like the time off. He'd been out for a long time. Pantoja's very good. So I went with Pantoja. I went with Pantoja via decision. But he went out there and he went for a finish. And he called for a title shot in his post-fight speech. So Pantoja, shout out to him. Great win. Puts himself in position. I want him to sit out. Sit out for the winner of Moreno Figgy 4. That's what you need to do. Fight them, spring of next year, summer of next year. I don't care what it is. I know it's only July or about to be August, But that's the fight that I want to see is Pantoja. He's earned it. He doesn't need to fight anyone else. He doesn't need to. Great statement win over a good guy in Alex Perez, who's been out a while, so kind of, was expected of him to lose this fight, but still a solid win from Pantoja. Put him at the top of the division. Moving down the card, at one more fight we're going to talk about on the main card, the fight that opened up the main card, and then we are going to get to questions and super chats and all that good stuff. Magomed Ankalaev versus Anthony Smith. And this fight ended in a little bit of controversy. You had Magomed Ankalaev getting the second round TKO. I thought that Anthony Smith would lose, but I thought he would lose by decision. I thought Magomed Ankalaev would win the fight via decision. I thought Anthony Smith was too durable, too tough. I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure if it was a check kick. I'm not sure if it was a, one of the body kicks Anthony Smith threw that was checked by the knee of Magomed Ankalaev. I'm not sure what it was. And I'm not sure if it's the ankle or the leg, like a low leg break. But something happened to Anthony Smith in the first round. At the tail end of the first round, he falls down. He doesn't get back up. He just lays on his back. He goes to the corner. He tells him something's wrong with his ankle leg area. He goes back out in the second round. Because of the injury, he immediately starts shooting in on a takedown. He can't get the takedown, so he starts pulling guard. And eventually this leads to Magomed Ankalaev on his back, swinging down brutal ground and pound shots, and the fight was called off. Up until the injury, I thought Magomed Ankalaev was winning a competitive fight. I thought he was landing good kicks. I thought he was landing good shots on the feet. It was by no means a runaway fight, and I still would have loved to have seen it play out. And I feel like we were left with a lot of unanswered questions here because of how it ended. But at the same time, I think Magomed Ankalaev was winning all of this fight even before the injury as well. It was close, but Ankalaev was winning it. Neither guy was particularly super active. And it sucks. I mean, it sucks to see a guy like Anthony Smith break his ankle, break his leg, whatever it may end up to be. It may end up being a low leg break, but we can't sit here and treat every, injury win as a fluke, okay? We just can't do it. We just cannot do it. Magomed Ankalaev calls whatever injury Anthony Smith had, whether it was a leg kick he threw, whether it was a kick he checked, whatever it may be, and then he finished him with ground and pound. He did what he had to do. Is it that statement win that can propel him towards a title shot of Jiri Prochazka against Jiri Prochazka? I don't know. I don't know if that's the case, but it's still a solid win over Anthony Smith. I understand you guys have some questions. I do too, and I don't feel like a lot of questions were answered in this fight. Just because of the injury, I would have liked to see it play out for longer and seen how it was going to play out. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Magomed Ankalaev TKO'd him. Magomed Ankalaev moves on to the rest of the division. I know we've had kind of a shitty, few months of weird injuries and big fights. We had the Yair injury or the Ortega injury. We had the Rockage injury. Now we had the Anthony Smith injury. But at least we can take solace in the fact we saw 4 minutes of this fight play out before the injury. And Magomed Ankalaev was winning it. Was he dominating? Absolutely not. But if anybody thinks that Anthony Smith was dominating, before the stoppage, you're disconnected from reality. Anybody that thinks this still wasn't a decent win for Magomed Ankalaev is disconnected from reality. He was doing very well. Anthony Smith really didn't land much of anything. He threw a couple body kicks that were checked with knees by Magomed Ankalaev. Magomed Ankalaev was landing some good shots on the feet himself. And it's just, this is the cards he was dealt. It sucks. It's unfortunate. Would I have liked to seen it go a different way? Yes. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Magomed Ankalaev gets the win, and now he propels himself towards the top of the division that he's already very close to. He's already ranked number 4. So basically right now, it's a three-way tie between Magomed Ankalaev, Jan Blachowicz, and Glover Teixeira to see who gets the lottery of fighting Jiri Prochazka for his light heavyweight title. I would have loved to seen a dominant win from Ankalaev. I like Anthony Smith, and I'm not saying I want to see Anthony Smith win. I was rooting for Anthony Smith. But to see Magomed Ankalaev fight for a title, I would have liked to seen, a little bit more dominant performance, a fight that wasn't kind of shrouded in a little bit of controversy because of the injury. But at the end of the day, we don't live in a perfect world. Would I love to live in a perfect world? Of course. Would I love to live in a world where, the ref gave Derrick Lewis 5 more seconds to get KO'd? Yes. But it doesn't always happen. Would I have loved to see Anthony Smith not get hurt, whatever that injury may be? and continue to fight? Yes. But at the end of the day, we have to accept what we see. And that's what we saw. So overall, it was a fun night. There were some fun prelims as well. I'm not going to really talk about any prelims because we've already gone almost 50 minutes on the stream. So I want to get to all your guys' questions so you guys can start throwing questions in the chat. But yeah, that's the entire UFC 277 main card recap. Great performance by Brandon Moreno. I think he's the star of the night. Alex Pantoja puts his name on the map as far as title contention tonight. Outside of that, you know, none massive takeaways. Nunes reclaims her belt, which I expected her to do. And a great night of picks for me, honestly. Great night of picks for me, which I'm happy about because that doesn't always happen with full card picks. It's really difficult to get full card picks accurate, and I did tonight. That was really good. So let's get to some questions, guys. Let's get to Blatant Super Chat because I saw some of it, but I didn't read it all because I didn't want to get distracted. Blatant Express, thank you for your $5 super chat. And guys, if you haven't already liked the stream and start throwing your questions in the chat. I'm going to try to read most of the questions. I'm going to have to kind of skim through because it looks like the chat is absolutely insane. But fill the chat with questions. I will get to them in a second. Blatant Express, thank you for your $5 super chat. Joey, I'm getting ready to go away to do a 5-year bid soon. Thanks for everything, man. I'm glad Peña lost tonight. Serves her right for shit-talking Val. First off, the shit-talking of Val was very weird because Valentina beat her. Blatant Express, why are you going away? I wish you the best if you are, or I doubt you would troll me. You've been a long-time supporter, long-time donator. I doubt you're trolling me. So I wish you the best. I hope you're out soon. And maybe the channel will have 50,000 subs when you get out. Promise me this. If you are serious, when you do get back, make sure you make yourself known on the channel. But I wish you the best and good luck to you, my friend. Okay, let's see. What are we reading? What are we reading? Looking for questions here. Jeez, I'm reading some of these responses from Blatant Express. We'll talk about this in a little bit. Man, that's terrible. We'll talk about this in a little bit. I'm going to get some MMA questions. Okay, this is really actually deep. I'm sorry to hear this, Blatant Express. Back when... Okay, I hope you're not trolling around, man, because I don't respect that if you're trolling around. But if you're serious, I wish you the best. Okay, let's try to get to some of these questions. I'm trying to find questions. What is this guy saying? Okay, this guy's getting banned. Okay, there we go. Boom. We don't need that guy there. Why are you shitting on Peña so hard when you said she didn't deserve a shot to begin with? You act like there is a line of killers at 35 that is waiting for a shot in Amanda Nunes. And shame on you for defending a 50-43. What is a 50-43? Is that 2 10-8s? I could get down with that. Hey Joey, how crummy is Blood Diamond? He has so many supporters, but he's absolutely trashed. There is a problem. There is a problem with people elevating people because they train with certain people. We see it all the time. And this is just another example of this. I picked against Blood Diamond in both fights. And it's just one of those things where just because you train with a champion doesn't make you a champion. And he didn't look good against Jeremiah Wells. He didn't look good tonight. And I think it's the nickname combined with the fact that, you know, he trains with Israel Adesanya, Volkanovski. And, you know, it's one of those things. It's one of those things where, I mean, he's a victim of the training camp he's with. And that's just what it is. He doesn't belong in the UFC. He's not UFC caliber. Okay, let me scroll back up because I've already caught up to a lot of this. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top. Okay. FanDuel Funded said, main card was solid. 277 was better than 276. I agree. I might be the only one who was actually upset Peña lost. I enjoyed her as champ. Actually kind of sad. I bet you there's others. Awesome card. Honestly, I enjoyed it as well. What happened to my badge? I have no idea. You'll have to check. And sometimes it'll ask you to renew your membership or something. You'll have to double check and you'll get it right back. You'll get your status that you were at too. Where you at, Joey? Was happy to see Pantoja dominate. That was great. Oh my Lord, what a card. Okay, I'm looking for some questions. What's up, Prison Mike? To Blaze One Sports, what's going on? Merc Lee, what's going on? Everyone get their Venom gear on for an amazing post-fight. Yes. Okay. I clean sweep the main card tonight. I only got Lewis wrong. Lewis was the only one I got wrong in this fight card. Peña's a dog. Much respect to her. Fought her ass off to the last second. She's definitely a dog. I don't know about fighting her ass off, but she got wrecked the entire fight. But I get what you're saying. Ended up bringing a pretty decent main card with two to three fights, decent fights on the prelims. I agree. I joined the Discord, but I don't know what that is and don't have it. You have to become a member and join the Discord, Prism Mike. You will love it. Basically, the Discord is just a server where only members from the channel can get in. And we have different tabs just because there's so many people in there at this point where we talk about different topics related to MMA. Like we have a fight night live chat where we all just talk about the fights that are going on right then. We have a random tab where we talk about whatever. We have a breaking news tab. I basically get all my news there. So become a member, join the Discord. You'll absolutely love it. It's an app you can get on your phone. It's basically a group messaging app kind of type deal. Peña's a damn warrior. Lewis stoppage was absurd. Sad Smith wasn't able to challenge Ankalaev like I thought he would. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to join the Discord, the link is in the description. I will actually also post it in the chat because for some reason, sometimes it doesn't work. The link is in the description, but sometimes it does not work. So I will post it. I will post it real quick. And I appreciate all you guys for joining me in the stream. I greatly do appreciate it. I enjoy talking to you guys after the fights. Otherwise, I'd just be going to bed right now with all my thoughts in my head. Did Smith break his leg? I don't know. He broke his ankle. Peña just constantly walked forward, throwing terrible looping shots, and her chin sky high. I know. I don't have one redeeming thing to say about the skill set of Peña outside of her stamina and her determination to win. And that is a really sad thing to say. Peña did the same thing in the first fight. Nunes is also shit. Nunes has massively regressed. I wouldn't say she's shit, but she's massively regressed. 50-43. Damn. Amanda's check right hooks were, I guess what that means. When Peña ran towards Nunes and got knocked down, the slow motion replays of Peña trying to strike with Nunes were embarrassing. I got secondhand embarrassment to watch. She was literally like, and the slow-mo just made her look so bad. And the commentary team was awful. Shevchenko over Nunes. I think both of them are starting to have, maybe complacency, maybe age. I think both of them are kind of having issues. I'd love to see them book that trilogy. It's now or never. I guess you do Nunes versus Vieira, but after that performance, Nunes should obliterate, probably. Nunes got out pretty easily, but I'm sure it damaged the arm. We'll see. I think Rogan mentioned that. Who do you think headlines the December card in Vegas? Who do I think headlines the December card in Vegas? It'll either be the heavyweight title fight or Adesanya versus Pereira, most likely. The commentary did mention the glove grabbing at one point. I did not hear that. Okay, there you go. Thank you guys for letting me know. I missed that. Bad, but not horrendous. Okay, I predicted Lewis getting knocked out. Congrats, Torrin Brown. DC is awful. They need to look at Paul Felder. Yeah, DC is terrible. And I know there's some guy who always gets mad at me for complaining about the commentary. But the commentary was really terrible tonight. It was really, really bad. And I thought Moreno won the third fight. But the way Joe Rogan just kept shoving it down our throats 24/7. I mean, the shit was a real put off, okay? Figgy could have easily won that fight as well. I think that Morales kid who fought on the early... I like that Morales kid who fought on the early prelims. Very talented, but still young and still a lot of, deficiency skill-wise. Definitely interesting, though, at such a young age. Trilogy, let's go. Would you guys say that the commentary is worse on pay-per-views than it is on fight nights? Probably. There's no way they can justify a trilogy after that beat. If they book a trilogy, I'm not watching that. I will boycott that. Peña got humbled hard. She got a ghost and go incognito for a while. Okay, Joey, I know trilogy. Who does Amanda fight? Those divisions are trash. There's Vieira. You said her name wrong. It's Ketlin Vieira. You threw me off there. I'm like, what the hell is he saying? And Aldana. I think Marco, I think you're being biased towards the women's division. If Peña gets a couple big wins, I could see a trilogy. Definitely not until she gets a couple wins. Yeah, I think Nunes might retire by then. Guys, you have no idea how talking this long makes your mouth very dry. Let's continue. Peña is a damn warrior. Lewis stop was absurd. Already read that. Well, let's see. FanDuel Funded, thank you for the $5 super chat. I greatly appreciate you. I had Magomed up. I'd like to see him versus Hill Santos next. I'm going to agree to disagree with you here because he already fought Santos. If Hill wins, I wouldn't mind seeing Magomed versus Hill. But, I think what you probably do with the division, okay? You either do Ankalaev versus Yuri and Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira 2, or you do Glover Teixeira versus Yuri 2, and you do Magomed Ankalaev versus Jan Blachowicz. Then what you do is, I don't know what you do with Hill then. If Hill beats Thiago Santos, maybe he fights Rakic when Rakic can return, if depending on the timeline they would be on. But if I had it my way, what fights would I want? I guess you book Prohaska versus Glover 2, and you do Jan Blachowicz versus Ankalaev. I'm not gonna die on that hill, but I think that's what I would probably do off the top of my head. And then the winner of Glover Teixeira, Yuri Prohaska 2 would fight the winner of Ankalaev versus Jan Blachowicz. So there you go. Thank you, FanDuel Funded, again for the $5 donation. Greatly appreciate you. Where's Dinosaur at? I agree. Peña has shit footwork. Yeah, terrible footwork. Terrible footwork, terrible striking, chin up in the air, terrible technique. And the commentary team was acting like she looked like elite. Peña's a damn war. Okay, read that. I have no desire to see Nunes versus anyone. I'm kind of with you, man. I'm kind of done with 35 at this point. Blood Diamond and Kai Kara France. It was definitely entertaining. I wouldn't call it great women's MMA. You said it perfect for me right there, Alex. You said it perfect for me. I mean, I don't know how many times Joe Rogan could yell, "It's tight." She's in real trouble here, guys. She's in real trouble here. Come on now. Okay, Moreno had such good head movement. Yes, he did. The head movement was looking very good. He always is so weird with his arms too. He's like, it's a weird thing that Moreno does, but he's a very good striker. He's very fast. Has a great chin, great stamina, great variety of attacks. Makes adjustments mid fight. There's so many good things I can say about Brandon Moreno. I thought it was a nut shot at first that put Kai Kara down. Me too, for a split second I did. Lewis' stoppage was not bad. He didn't answer like 7-8 shots and went down face first. He got up, but you should judge the stoppage based on what happened before. Exactly. He would not have gotten up had the referee not saved him for 4 or 5 seconds there. Brandon had stung him hard with that kick because you heard it instantly and then it erupted. Okay, there you go. Moreno got lucky. Lewis, Ferguson, Gustafsson, retirement time. You're right. If a perfectly placed shot he landed a couple times, it's all luck. You're right. If a perfectly placed shot he landed a couple times, it's all luck. Okay, I don't know what you're saying. Can't believe you're going to defend a 50-43. I already read that. Okay, let's get down here. Some more questions. Derrick Lewis went up after 1 second. It was like 5 seconds, dude. You're equating 1 second to like a 5-second break in action. You're telling me the ref couldn't wait another 2 seconds? He could have. But when you go I remember hearing from some referee somewhere at some point in time, I know that's not a good explanation. They are trained that if they see the body language of face down, they stop the fight. So if you pause it, if you watch the body language of Big Dan Murgliata and you pause it the second that it looks like he's going to step in and stop the fight, it's right when Derrick Lewis goes face down. Okay, that's what happened in this fight. That's exactly what happened in this fight. And it was a fine stoppage by Big Dan Murgliata. Blatant Express, if this is a true story, I'm not even going to mention it on air. That's not something I really want to talk about. But we're all with you, my friend. We're all with you. I hope everything's the best, and I hope you return to the channel afterwards. But that is not something I expected to read tonight. You can't know Derrick is going to get up. He was face down. Exactly. Julianna Peña is still a winner in my eyes. But in all honesty, she got wrecked, but looked good doing it. I'll stop. Okay, that's a little bit weird. Pavlovich got lucky. All right. Anthony Smith is worst. I think it's way too early to say that. Dana confirmed Anthony Smith has no fracture. Can someone strip him of the Lionheart name already? So what was that then? Are you sure? I'll have to look that up. Thanks, Joey. I really appreciate it. Thank you, man. Thank you. I greatly appreciate you and your donations, man, and your support for watching the channel. I think Yeon versus Ankalaev for #1 contenders to fight to make Meanwhile Glover. Look, Jack, we're on the same page. I said that. I never even read your message yet. Blood Diamond isn't UFC caliber, but those sneaky head kicks were nice AF. Help me understand this, bro. I think we're just giving the ref a hard time because I love Derrick, but bro took like 10 unanswered shots and say he was getting you can't be on all fours and defend. I don't know exactly what you're trying to say there, but I think it was a good stoppage. You see Izzy telling Kai after the fight, you dominated the entire fight, you're champion. Kind of cringe message. I did not see that, but that is terrible advice because that's not even remotely true. Yeah, he could have gotten the chance to take more punishment. Yeah, I think regardless, let's say it went on for a couple more seconds, it was getting stopped anyway. Can we crown fund to get Chris Curtis some Venom gear with MMA Joey's Flamingos on it? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, guys, donate to the channel so I can get some Venom gear, some custom Venom gear. Not going to lie, Magomed Ankalaev is kind of a boring fighter. Hey, Joey, I didn't buy this pay-per-view this time, but how was Kai looking up until the KO? I hope you saw the earlier analysis. If not, go back and watch it. But he looked very good. It was a very close 3 rounds. I had Kai Kara France winning the 3rd round up until the stoppage. 2nd round was a coin flip, but I gave it to Moreno. 1st round, I thought it was close, but it was Moreno clearly. Kai was just waiting on the big shots a little bit too much. He was landing some good hard leg kicks, but he was just waiting on the, looking for the big right hand. Just that's kind of what he was kind of banking on. Do you agree with the stoppage against Lewis? Yes. We do not live in a perfect world. That was a fine stoppage. Joey, I think there's a trilogy clause, and please get rid of the 45 fake belt. I don't know why Dana's still holding it on there. Yeah, it closed down the 45-pound division. It doesn't exist. And it would be much better. They could have a much better division. You could have Nunes at 45. You could have Cyborg at 45, and you could have Harrison at 45, and then you could throw in, like Megan Anderson. I'm sure you could find some others. And it would be an okay division. It would be shallow, but it would be much better than the current state of non-existence. I was there tonight, just got in, bad officiating. It's always bad officiating in Texas, it seems like. I'm a fan of Nikolai, always somewhat okay. Always entertaining to watch. Can we talk about how badass the Nikolai's 2nd round was? We're talking about, let's see what we're talking about here. I think I know what you're talking about. The stoppage against the cage. Nikolai Negumereanu, I think is how you pronounce his last name. Brutal finish at the end of this, towards the middle of the 2nd round. Hurt him, swarmed him up against the cage. Ihor Potieria was just gassed out at that point. Brutal beatdown and nasty finish. So I agree, that was a great one. Good points. I like those matchups. Thank you. You made me laugh in real life with the biased remark. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I made you laugh. Anyone wins, Joe Rogan be like the GOAT, ladies and gentlemen. He is literally the GOAT maker. At least 30 GOATs by now. Yeah. Joe Rogan, I believe Joe Rogan has kind of checked out. I don't believe he's at the same level he used to be in commentary. It's just, and maybe that's an unpopular opinion. I'm not a fan of it anymore. I miss the golden days of Rogan and Goldie. What does the UFC do with Blood Diamond? Cut him. Not UFC caliber, guys. He looked terrible. He looked robotic. He looked uncoordinated. And that's the end of the story. Figgy tried so hard to be a heel, but Moreno's too nice. Kind of funny to say. Yeah. I enjoyed it, though. I enjoyed it. I don't need this storyline of 2 guys hitting each other over the head with steel chairs and putting each other through tables to enjoy, the build-up to a fight. They are 2 elite-level flyweight fighters, and that's what I want to see. Juliana, okay, read that already. Lewis doesn't like getting hit. He quits a lot. I don't know if he quit or he got flash KO'd, but he does end up on his face quite a bit. How did you do on your picks? You went 8-5. I went 10-3. I'll go over my picks real quick, okay? I went Cosce. I went Potieria. I went Edwards. I went Morales. I went Klose. I went Mays, which was wrong. I went Dober. I went Moreno. I went Ankalaev, I went Pantoja, I went Lewis, Moreno, and Nunes. So the only ones I got wrong were Potieria, Mays, and Lewis. So I went 10-3 tonight, which isn't always the case. Um, Pantoja versus Moreno prediction. That's a tough fight to pick. I lean Moreno. I feel like he's evolved so much since he's lost, but that's a tough fight for him. I could see either guy winning. Joey, thoughts on Nikolai? Dominated in the grappling in the first and dominated on the feet in the second. I think he looked really good, but it's not against the best competition by any means. I know I picked against him, but I didn't have a lot of knowledge on that fight before I picked it. So, there's not much for me to say. The shots looked good. The killer instinct looked good. And I can't wait to see him move up the ladder. I don't know who he's going to fight next. It's one of those things. 205 is not particularly deep. So he could probably move up kind of fast. Joe Rogan really disrespected Pavlovich in an interview, basically saying you won to an early stop. I know, Joe Rogan's smoking crack. That wasn't even an early stoppage. I'm going to get Venom gear with my man Blatant Express as a name to commemorate my man. Yeah, dude, I feel that really honestly put me down a little bit. Joey, the merch table didn't take my promo code MMA Joey for 10% off. Had to pay premium for Venom. Damn, that sucks, Andy. That sucks. You had to pay the premium. You should have told him. Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? I thought Moreno was on the way to getting finished. Body language was bad, and then boom, liver kick. What? I don't think he was by any means on the path to getting finished. Hey, Joey, the UFC needs to implement more face-offs in the octagon post-fight like Moreno Figgy. Great way to start building up potential fights. Perez should have faced off with Izzy at 276. I like it on rare occasion, but honestly, it doesn't really do much to me. You need to go rewatch some Rogan Z's and Goldie because every other thing they said was wildly cringe. That's why I enjoyed it, my friend. That's why I enjoyed it. Respect is all I need to sell a fight. All I need is high-level skills is what I need to sell a fight. Will Kai Kara France ever be champion? Possible, but doubtful. I think he loses to Figgy. I think he loses to Pantoja. I think he loses to Moreno again. So, unfortunately, no. Will he contend for a belt again? There's a good chance he could contend for a belt. I could see in the future Kai Kara France fighting for the flyweight belt, and it all depends how the division plays out. You never know. But he's definitely one of the elite of the elite. I think his stock maybe went up a hair tonight. I don't think it went down. If anything, it stayed the same. I think he looks very good. This was a very close competitive fight. Perfect shot. This is a game of inches. And Moreno slammed that body kick in and finished him off. I only got one lick right tonight, which was Moreno. You only got one pick right? How many picks did you make? That's crazy. Amanda is a real double champ because she beat Cyborg, Felicia Spencer, Megan Anderson. Amanda defends the belt, and now she's dominant everyone. She is the GOAT. I think she is the greatest woman of all time. I defended her as the double champion because she beat Cyborg. Felicia Spencer, come on. Megan Anderson, come on. But I do believe she does deserve the distinction of double champion. But as it stands right now, it's a farce. Okay, there's not a division that exists, so we can cut the act. Okay. Nice picks. 10-3 is impressive. Thank you. It doesn't always happen, but tonight's a rare night that it happens. Current Shevchenko would eat Nunes. I'm not sure. Shevchenko looked human in her last fight as well. I picked Shevchenko in the first two fights against Nunes, so I'd probably pick her again. But she looked pretty human in her last fight against Santos. So, how much would someone have to pay you to listen to the Nunes post-fight press conference? I don't know, maybe like $20. I'd probably listen to it for $20. Send the super chat over, I'll listen to it. Joe Rogan mentioned that the flyweight interim title fight might go vacant and we might not see Figgy at 35 again. I thought that was a possibility as well, but it is funny that he's mentioning that. What's next for Pavlovich? What is next for Sergei Pavlovich? Who recently won in the division? Let me go to MMA World Rankings. They're better. Let me go to there. UFC. Maybe Volkov? Does Volkov have a fight coming up? Let's take a look. Volkov just beat Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Yeah, I say Alexander Volkov would be a logical next step. Or the winner of Augusta Sakai versus Sergei Spivak would make sense. But yeah, that's what I would go with. I would say Alexander Volkov makes a lot of sense for me. That's what I would go with. Why did they stop the Lewis fight before Lewis was done fighting? Because he was face down kissing the mat, bro. How does Prime Cejudo fit in with the current flyweight landscape champion? It would be very interesting. I wish he would come back to flyweight, but he's never going to. Dude wants to fight at featherweight. Cejudo is the worst negotiator in the history of negotiators. He would definitely be a contender. I think he beats Figgy. Probably beats Moreno as well. So he's probably champion. He's probably champion at flyweight. But it'd be very interesting. What is up, Tommy MMA? Hope you're doing well. Do you think Luque knocks out Neal in his next fight? Probably not. Probably goes to decision, but I think Luque wins. Just got back from the fights in Dallas. Thoughts on the co-main? Great performance by Moreno. Great performance by Kai France as well. It's a game of inches. Moreno slammed in that body kick, finished him off. Both guys look excellent. I think both guys' stock went up tonight. Maybe Kai France not up that much just because he got finished. But it was a very close competitive fight up until the finish. Thank you for joining the live stream, Mario. I hope you had a great time at the fights. Connor is the only legitimate double champ. Let that sink in. No, I get what you're saying. I don't know. You're tripping 100%. What did I say? Any idea why the UFC hasn't added Sean Yan to UFC 280? They have. It's on the UFC's website. It's on Tapology, so it's official. Don't trust Google. I feel like Lewis kind of got robbed. Stop it. Jackson, stop it. I would happily put money on Blatant Express books in the pen. I don't think that I would have done anything different. I read some of the messaging. Blatant, jump in the Discord. Blatant, you're in the Discord, right? Message Blatant. Let me know if you're still here. Let me know in the chat. Let's discuss this in the Discord, my friend. I would love to hear more about it and when you're going. And I hope everything's well, man. I really hope you're not messing with us. DC ain't beat the champ. Henry ain't beat the champ. Nunes has a fake 45-pound belt. No, but Nunes beat Chris Cyborg, so I think she won. If you had to look at Paulo Costa on Instagram lately, he's huge and jacked. We might see Rockhold head knocked off the first few minutes of the fight. Very possible. I don't trust Luke Rockhold's chin. But I have not looked at his Instagram recently. Will you be picking Derrick Lewis in any more fights? Probably not, but it all depends who is he fighting. Depends who he's fighting. You know, if he goes out there, let's say the UFC books him against Marcin Tybura, probably. Shamil Abdurakhimov, maybe. But anybody in the top, no. What's next for Drew Dober? Maybe Drakkar Klose. That would be. I think that fight makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't mind seeing the Terrence McKinney fight ran back with McKinney getting a full camp, but I doubt that happens. McKinney has a fight coming up, but if he wins that fight, I like to see that ran back as well. But the Drakkar Klose makes a lot of sense. Let me just say this: Drakkar Klose called out Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson wrecks Drakkar Klose. A lot of deficiencies there. Wait, Joey, so you're saying there's zero chance that Lewis could have recovered if the ref gave him 2 more seconds because he was still in the fight? Yes, I'm saying that. And I will die on that hill. He was face down kissing the mat. He was unconscious. Or he just flat out quit and he's uncoordinated. Either way, he's done. Who does Justin Taffa fight? I think the winner of Chris Barnett, Jay Collier is a good idea. Yeah, or maybe Harry Hunsucker on the main card of whatever 270. What is it, 278? Ew, opening up the main card. That has no business. Do you think the UFC makes the Drakkar-Tony fight? No, I do not. I think it's a terrible fight to make. Even though I would love it because Tony Ferguson would get back on the winning track, and I'm a Tony Ferguson fan. So there you go. Face down, ass up has become Lewis's new signature pose. Pavlovich versus Volkov because they both come off TKO wins. There you go. That's the fight that I said to make. I agree. All fours. It's going to get worse. Guys, stop. Ref saved the man's life. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But part of me thinks he could have pulled something off. Remember? Yeah, he could have. But it's very unlikely. It's very unlikely. He was face down. The ref did the right thing by stopping the fight. He ate a bunch of shots unanswered. He was throwing wild and sloppy, and he got countered. The fight wasn't going to change. He masked the skill deficiencies for years with the power and timing. And that's it. Guys, you have to recognize when somebody is just they can't keep up anymore. Derrick Lewis's skill set, his luck has ran out. He has nuclear power, but if he can't find your chin, it's no good. It's no good, and he wasn't able to do that. Imagine, what some of these guys would do to him. Imagine, I think Francis Ngannou would brutalize him in a rematch. And the chin is going. Obviously, the chin's going. I mean, he's got TKO'd in the last 3 fights. He quit in the Cirogan fight. I was one of the only people saying that. He flat out quit. So, and he got brutalized as well. So, well, guys, it was a great night. It was a great night. I enjoyed UFC 277 for all its faults. But make sure you run up the likes on the stream. I would greatly appreciate that. If you have any final questions before we get out of here, it is almost 2:30 a.m. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. I'm going to stay on for a few more minutes answering some last-minute questions. And then I'm going to get out of here and go to sleep. I'll be working on more videos tomorrow. I got still, a bunch of videos to do. What's next for this? What's next for that? Then we got next week. What's on next week's card? Let me take a look real quick. But make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. Even share the video if you could. I would greatly appreciate that as well. Let's see what we got on tap for next week. I know it's Hill versus Santos. Vicente Luque, Jeff Neal. Ew. Muhammad Usman's on the card. Augustus Sakai, Sergei Spivak. Ariana Lipsky versus Priscilla Cachoeira. This isn't a terrible card. Terrence McKinney, Eric Gonzalez. I love that fight. So this is a decent fight, guys. This is a decent fight card next week. Damn, Stephanie Egger is getting right back in there, huh? She beat Jessica Rose Clark not that long ago, right? When was that? Yeah, she beat Rose Clark earlier. When was that? I'm looking for when it was. I just clicked on it. UFC Fight Night Performance of the Night. When was that? Walker versus Hill? That was that long ago? That was in February. I thought that was recently. Okay. We've always said Derrick Lewis' speed was underrated. He lost that speed, yeah. Blaze One Sports with the thumbs up. Yeah, it's a tough finale. What's the most surprising thing about tonight? What is the most surprising thing about tonight? That is a good question. That is a very good question. Let me take a look at the results again and see if anything stands out to me. There's really nothing massive that stands out to me. I'll say the realization that Amanda Nunes has regressed. I'll say that's the biggest surprise for me. I do understand that, she had to make adjustments because Julianna Peña beat her in the last fight. But I believe that prime Amanda Nunes is gone. She is a thing of the past. And while that's depressing, it's true. She's not the same fighter that went out there and, brutalized. Let's take a look at some of these names on the resume. Let's take a look at some of these names on the resume. She went out there and brutalized Megan Anderson, brutalized Felicia Spencer, brutalized Jeraine Durandamine, TKO'd Holly Holm, Chris Cyborg. Okay, some of those names aren't great, but she made them look like they didn't even belong. We are far, I believe, in the last 3 years or so, Amanda Nunes has slowly regressed into what she is today. She's getting up there in age, and I just think Nunes is not the same. Maybe you guys agree. Let's do a poll before I get out of here. Let's do a poll. Has Nunes regressed? Because I'm curious what you guys think. Maybe I'm in the minority here. I just don't think she's the same as she was when she was beating names like Holly Holm and Chris Cyborg and, whoever else is on the list. Jeraine Durandamine. I think she's fallen off a little bit. Is that to say she's not good? No, I'm not saying she's not good. Is that to say that she's not still the best 135 pounder? That's not to say that. That doesn't change the fact that I believe that she's regressed. Wait, so you're saying Nunes isn't the same? She dominated? I don't understand. I really believe the Nunes of 2018, it would have never even been close. She would have slept her badly and brutally in the first round. For me, it was Lewis getting finished. See, that didn't surprise me too much. What would you do? Okay, I don't know what that said. Do you think the UFC has failed Francis as far as promotion? He could have easily been a McGregor-level star. Yes, they have. Francis is a freak athlete with a freak physique and always exciting fights. Almost always exciting fights and brutal KOs. So, I don't know why they don't promote him better. No, she was always overrated because women's MMA isn't great. These up and comers are just better. Well, Lewis versus Rosenstrike, book it. I think that makes sense. It looks like not everyone agrees with me. 55-45 saying no. I think she's regressed. I think her skill sets have fallen off a cliff a little bit. So, well, guys, I think that pretty much does it for the stream. I appreciate all you guys for joining me. We'll take a couple more questions. What was your favorite fight of the night? Definitely Moreno, Kai France. It was a lot of fun. It was very competitive. And the finish came out of nowhere. And it had big implications. I really enjoyed Moreno versus Kai France. And I think it's a fight we could see a trilogy of in the future, even though Kai France got finished. What would you do to improve reffing? I don't know. There's got to be more steadfast rules taught to referees. I think there's got to be more penalizations for egregious fouls. And I'm tired of people getting leniencies for this stuff. For grabbing the fence, for grabbing inside the glove. So, I definitely see Amanda's chin getting weaker. Yeah, and her heart, I don't think her heart and her will to be there is there as much. Peña is just a tough opponent. We'll find out. We'll see how Amanda Nunes looks in her next fight, depending on who she fights. But anyway, I am going to get out of here. It is almost 2:30 a.m. So thank every single one of you guys for joining me. I appreciate you guys very much. Don't forget to like the stream on your way out. Share it with, other people who enjoy MMA. I really do appreciate you guys joining me every single stream. If you're watching this after the fact and you watched all the way to the end, like you're watching this tomorrow or the next day, comment down below and let me know that you're watching it after the fact. I'm curious how many people watch this the day afterwards or the 2 days afterwards. So thank you guys all for joining me. I appreciate you very much. UFC 277 was a very fun night. I enjoyed the card. As much as it got shit on, it was a very quality card with a lot of high-level fights and enjoyable fights. So thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Hopefully, I'll have some videos out tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing yet. I am tired. My brain is turned into mush. So I am going to get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your night. Go to sleep. Get some sleep. And if you didn't watch this entire stream, go back and rewatch the entire thing as you go to sleep. Thank you guys, and I will talk to you later.